Hi, this is Roger from Kanka Labs with another edition What Every Maker Should Have One. And don't worry, I've not become a Borg drone or a cyborg. It's just one of the universal tools that every maker should have one of. This headband-loupe or headband magnifier. But magnifiers, microscopes, or anything, any optical aid is the theme of this edition, or this part of our long-running video series, What Every Maker Should Have One of. And we take a look at all of the optical aids you can afford. You might know the mantis or a stereo-microscope over from David L. Jones from the EEV blog, but most of us simply can't afford such expensive gear in the lab or don't have the enough place for that, enough room. So we'll concentrate on everything I've tried out in the last 20 or 30 years of affordable optical aids, and some of them are useful, most of them are just crap. So let's start to sort them out piece by piece. So now, before we talk about magnifiers or any kind of magnifying devices, we should talk about something that is even more important, and that is light. You can never have enough light, and the reason for that is threefold. First of all, it's of course that if you have a good lighting, you also can see the inside the shadows of devices. But what's more important, the more light you have, the more your pupil closes, and that has the same effect as in a photographic lens. You might know that when you close the iris diaphragm, then two things happen. First of all, there is less light going onto the sensor, but that's not what is important. The other thing is that the depth of field increases. So especially when it comes to human vision, and you want to observe objects or work with objects in a near distance, then it's much better when your pupil closes, that you have a greater depth of field, so that what's in sharp vision is just from a greater range of distance to your eye. And the third thing is, you might know also from photographic lenses that the more you close the iris diaphragm, then the aberrations, the optical errors of your lens, they become smaller, or up to a certain point. And the same happens in the eye. The eye is one of the most imperfect optical devices, but the more your pupil closes, then the optical aberrations get smaller and smaller, and so you simply get a sharper vision. And that means, all in all, enough light means not only that the shadows of your objects are lighted enough to see something inside, but especially that you have much less eye strain than when working in a dim environment. So now for this video, I did on purpose turn off my photographic lights, and I only have the room lights on, which are typical fluorescent lights used in a bureau. And I don't have a specialized lux meter, but I have my old analog exposure meter, and that is also designed to measure lux values. So now with only the fluorescent lights at the ceiling on, let's see what we get here. We get an exposure value of 7, and that translates to 700 lux, and that is clearly not enough for a good lighting in a lab. In Germany, it is advised to have at least 1000 lux, and the more the better. Now let's see what we can do in a typical hobby lab to increase the level of light. Well, what many of you know is these fluorescent, or in a more modern version, LED lights, which also come with a big glass magnifier. We will talk about later if this magnifying lens is really useful. But anyway, let's turn this on. It takes some time because it's also an old ring fluorescent light, and you already can see in the camera, although it adapts to more light, that the light level has increased. Let's take another measurement, and we get an exposure value of 10, which translates to already 5500 lux. And that is clearly enough for a really good light situation in a lab. So that is my first advice. You can get these relatively cheap at eBay or other sources, or at specialized electronics dealers, but they have become so cheap. They are around, I don't know, 50 bucks or so, and I think even the more modern ones with LEDs give more light than this somewhat older. You already can see how yellowed the plastic has become than these old fluorescent bulbs. But anyway, this is something that's quite good, and the swing arm, and that you can turn it at any angle. This makes them really useful. What is not so useful are these swan neck LED lights. This one is already 10 years old. I just bought it for fun, and well, the swan neck is of course a good idea, but let's see. You already can see the circle of light that has that gets really the max brightness is much smaller than with the swing arm fluorescent light. Now let's see what we get here. We get an exposure value of 9, which is 2800 lux, but only in the central spot. So this one is really not very useful or helpful. And here we have another combined magnifier, also with a little swing action, even with two different magnifications. Perhaps you can see that there is a second higher magnification lens inside the big one, but that doesn't interest us now. And let's see, this is also, as you can see, a more modern white or blue-white LED version, which with a already bigger circle of full lighting. And we also get an exposure value of around 9, and this translates again to 2800 lux. So this is already a bit better, but the stand here is always in the way, and you can see this is not my typical lab table. It's more for doing computer work and shooting some videos. So you usually have limited space, and why should you take away some space just with the stand of this? So this is just a compromise, and I still think, let's put it away, that the classical swing arm fluorescent or LED light is really what you should have first. It's cheap, it gives enough light, it gives a big circle of even lighting. You can see the whole area, work area here is filled evenly with light. You get enough light. You can even increase the level of lighting by getting the light source quite near to your object or to your table, and so that's quite okay. And I would, let's get away with this lamp. And there is still a second thing that should always be at hand, and that is one of the readily available LED lamps. The reason is these are quite useful if you should get a focusable one, like this one, where you can concentrate the light to a very small area. And this is useful for two things: in doing repair or take apart work. It's quite useful to have a very bright light being able to shine inside the edges or around the edges of a device. And an alternative to this is this little LED light here. It is not as bright as the one before. It's not focusable, but it also has a swan neck and it has a magnetic back, so you can attach it to anything magnetic, and then, like I do here, and then, well, it's a bit complicated. So, and then you, with the swan neck, you can, you cannot see it now because of the angle of the camera, but anyway, you could perhaps put it at the computer. Yeah, that's magnetic. And with a swan neck, you can, you have your hands free when you want to just enlighten a small spot. And there is another application for using a flashlight, and I do my prototype work with this perf board cards, and to check if you don't have any shorts, I just shine the light from the back through the perf board, and thereby you can very easily see any shorts, even in SMD soldering or doing very delicate work with a small footprint ICs or parts, and I can detect any solder short in a matter of seconds on a even on a large circuit board. So let's make a resume. Two things are really indispensable, and that is such a swing arm fluorescent or LED light, which gives you enough light for your whole work area, and a cheap, if possible, focusable LED light. 1 watt, 3 watt or 5 watt, they are all sufficient. So that was it beforehand, before we come to the magnifiers concerning now. You should have enough light, and now let's take a look at which magnifying devices are really useful and which are affordable, because, well, not all of us can afford a stereo-microscope or a mantis or any other professional device in the many thousands of dollars region. We specialize on the tens of dollars or euros region. So let's take a break, and I'll show you some of the magnifiers we have tried out, or I have tried out, in my, I don't know, 20-30 years of doing electronics hobby. So now let's come now to really the magnifying devices. We already saw this in the ring light of the swing arm lighting integrated lens here. Well, what at first seems like a good idea, I personally have used it once and never before because it's simply awkward to do assembly work with the light. Your eye becomes relatively, in a short period of time, becomes strained, and you always have to reposition it. But that's my personal opinion. That there are other persons who really like to work with this. You get these with different magnifications, and my advice is try the one with the smallest magnification. You may be tempted to buy one with a 10 or even 12-fold magnification, but there are two disadvantages when the magnification of a loupe or of a magnifier, when it goes up, again your depth of field becomes smaller and smaller. So what's in sharp vision is you constantly have to reposition it, and your eye becomes strained in a matter of seconds, or at max after a minute, when you work with a really high magnifying glasses here integrated. So buy one with a something between 2 and 4-fold magnifications. Again, this is my personal opinion. There are other people who really are happy with these integrated magnifying glasses. What's good about them is the large size of the lens. That's really something good, but I personally have really only worked once with it and went on with my search for the perfect instrument for magnification. And what you should also get away with is these awkward, well, in Germany we call them third hand or helping hand devices. They have some crocodile clips and usually a magnifier installed. Also, one of the things, I bought one because you get them for a few dollars, and I think, well, let's give it a try. I tried it once and I really, it's just pure luck that I still have it and didn't throw it in the garbage bin. So away with that, that's really crap. And then you have, of course, these, well, let's take something else before. There are also these kind of glasses with a magnifier you can swing in before. They come even with 3 exchangeable magnifiers. They are not made out of glass here. This is acrylic. And for me also absolutely awkward to work with these. Your nose becomes quickly, the pressure on the nose is just not very comfortable, and they even have just as a gadget a small light inside, totally useless. Anyway, these are often used by stamp collectors. When they get happy with these kind of glasses, okay, for me they are really useless. The 2 lenses, they you might think that is good for stereo vision, well, 3D vision. That's of course true, but the lenses are just too near together. They are much nearer together than the distance of your eyes, and so another reason why this one, to me, it gave only headaches after working with them a few minutes. Just a gadget for a few bucks on eBay. I just kept them for this video and now they go into the garbage bin. So then there are several varieties of magnifiers. First of all, there are those with a fixed distance. These are only useful when the object that you want to observe is precisely even, and you can put the magnifier onto the object. But they can be optically really good, depending on the quality, if it's a single or a so-called achromatic lens. They have their place, and but I also used these which came as present from, I don't know, from Word Electronic, this one here, which is at least made out of metal. I don't use them very often, or in other words, very seldomly. So nice, but not very practical. The first thing that really was sufficient for my work was this high quality magnifier. I think it even has 4 lenses inside, so it has really good optical quality. It also cost for me quite a fortune 20 or 30 years ago. I used it for looking at photographic negatives. The older ones of you still know analog photography on chemical film, and you just had to inspect the negatives or the your film with magnifiers if they are correctly exposed and if they are in focus, etc. And this one has the nice feature: you can screw the optical assembly out of this acrylic holder. The acrylic holder is, of course, good for exactly focusing onto the negative when you put it plain on the table, and when you put it out, you can go with your eye exactly by positioning your head and your eye. You can get very close to the object you want to observe. So this was the first one that I really used for a long time in the lab, but I think such a it's not super high quality, but 4 lenses is just they went to just quite some effort to optimize the optical quality. This is really, it has a large sharp field, and the magnification is around 10-fold. And so if you have still one of these, or get one from an old photographer, you can keep it. But what we once also got as a prism is now what I work nearly exclusively, and this is this small jeweler's lamp. And it has one big advantage. It lights up the field. It has a 30 times magnification. Well, you might say that is in contrast to what I just said before. Use as low a magnification as possible. But in this case, when it comes to inspecting, well, SMD soldering or really very delicate detail, here in the lab, there's nothing that beats this thing. It's probably a cheap thing from China. We also import it from China. But it has a superb, sharp, big field of view, and you really get a 3-dimensional effect. If you, I'll show you how I use it. I take it very close to my eye, and then when I slightly turn the object under inspection, I really can see, although I only observe with one eye, it really has a 3-dimensional effect. And it's so cheap that we took it in our shop because we are absolutely convinced of this. We use it here every day when it comes to short inspection. You don't have to build up any anything. It just lies around at every lab table here, and the small white LED here, that's really a very, very helpful thing. It illuminates the field under inspection quite bright, even though it's really a 10-cent LED probably inside. But this is really a 100% advice. You can't do anything wrong with this, which is usually sold as a jeweler's magnifier. You can find it in our shop. Here it even states it has 45 times 21 millimeter. I don't think that the magnification is 45 times. There are also different concepts how the magnification of a single lens magnifier is defined or measured. So this is my first advice, but this is only for a short inspection of under really high magnification. When it comes to really long time soldering or inspection work, then nothing beats these headband loupes, or however they are called. They come in two variations. They only differ in the headband. This one here has Velcro strips just to adapt it to your... You look like an alien, I know, but you usually work alone in the lab, and if you are not alone, your co-workers probably also use one of these. They do have, you really get a real stereoscopic effect, because you have really the two single acrylic lenses here. They are enough. They have enough distance to cover the distance of your eyes, and you can even, for doing a very close inspection work, you can put a second lens in front, so you get around double the magnification. But I personally work, as I already told you, for long time work, use the lowest magnification. This is only around 2 times, but it's absolutely sufficient even for SMD work. And I can work hours with these. You even have a third magnification when you have these little swing extra magnifying glass here, at least for one eye. I don't like this one. I've disassembled this from most of our headband loupes here at the lab. And what's quite nice is you can just with a touch of your hand, you can put the magnifying glass out of your field of view. And believe me, I work sometimes when I do prototype work 3 or 4 hours with this thing on, and I get absolutely no eye fatigue. There is one thing you should watch out for. Our younger co-workers here at the age between 20 and 30, they don't like these one. They say they can more easily work without any magnifier. That's probably because they still have better eyes when they are younger. But believe me, at least when you get into your 40s, then you will be very thankful to have such a fatigueless magnifier. The second one here is the one that I personally work all of the time with. It has the differences. It has just a different headband. It's with these I don't know, with this clip. You can set the size of your head, and also here for your front, the plastic used here is somewhat more skin friendly. The optics is absolutely the same here. You can see I have disassembled the third round swing magnifier that you can put still in front. And there is even a light here installed. Here it was originally even light bulbs, not even LEDs. I've changed these to high efficiency LEDs, but don't use these LEDs. They are absolutely useless. That's a gadget. It's really a marketing gag. Use really lab light, like the swing arm fluorescent or LED light. Don't try these LED lighting or this. That's really a gag. You can even take this one out, throw it away, or use it for something else. So these two are also because we really use them every day here for assembly work and for prototype work. We have both of them in our shop. The optics, as I told you, is the same. This one, we call it the more comfortable headband magnifier, because really the plastic and the band is the headband adjustment is just a little bit more practical. And well, now finally let's make a break again and take a look at electronic magnifiers. So let's finally take a look at electronic magnifiers. As you can see, I have brought 3 ones. The first one is a standalone device. It's also a nice little gadget called Easy Pix. I don't know if that's the company or the concrete model number. It is a battery powered or external power. The nice thing, you can't see it very well, but it does have a screen, a little TFT with not a great resolution. Well, it does, it does its work. Our master Burkhard Kainka just once got this as a present, as far as I know, from one of our suppliers. It can take pictures. It has 2 megapixels resolution, but to be honest, it's just a gadget. We never use it here since we have our little solid state magnifiers. And anyway, if you get one of these ones cheap, it might be worth a few dollars. But anyway, we don't use it here, so it's more a gadget than a really useful everyday lab device. Let's see how to turn off. Yeah, okay. Next, I have 2 of these popular USB microscopes. The first one here with this little stand. It's my personal one. I just bought it when the price of these things came down to, I think it was around 50 euros. The image quality of these is unbelievably good. This one here I think has 4 or 6 megapixels. It's a Viho Discovery VMS 001. They have integrated LED lights, and this one is manually focusable. It's quite difficult to show you the picture on my screen here. So I think there are enough videos on YouTube where you can get more informations and demo videos or demo pictures you can take with a little push key button here, single photos, and otherwise you have a live view. But anyway, I use it only 2 or 3 times at home before I discovered the glass magnifiers, the simple magnifiers I just showed you a minute ago. And for taking pictures, of course, they are really useful and affordable. But we don't use them here for everyday work. We only use them if we want to document any soldering or something like that with really with photos and or hard copies. And 10 years ago or 15 years ago, the quality these things delivered was unheard of, or it was unaffordable for a hobbyist to afford one of these. You had to buy an expensive microscope and then put either in the years gone an analog video camera or a modern CCD or CMOS camera on top of the microscope. That was in the range of many thousands of dollars, and this was really a revolution, these little USB connected microscope. My verdict is the price to usability or quality relation is incredibly good, but I don't use them here except for documentation work. I really use the two devices I did show you, the little jeweler's magnifier with a 20 or 30 times magnification, and my headband-loupe, and that is really all. If you really want to buy one of these USB microscopes, perhaps you should spend some dollars more to get one with a decent stand. And this one even has an XY table. So this is really good if you do really delicate inspection work for very small ICs as used in modern consumer electronics like smartphones, etc. Then this XY table here down is really useful, and you have also a light from below, which is variable. You can show you it's relatively bright. You can use it even with batteries or with USB power. And this one has the specialty, it has different magnifications and autofocus, and that is really quite useful. I got this one from ELV, but it's of course a rebranded Chinese version. ELV is a German electronics, hobby electronics distributor. I'll be honest, I bought this one for our lab here 1 year ago and never used it until now for this video. So you see, you really, it's the quality is incredible, and this one is together with a stand at around 100 euros or dollars. It's really incredible, but for doing quick inspection, you have to connect it to a PC, and you have to build it up, and it really takes too much time. And anything you can do with a standalone magnifier, even if you take a device like this one here, it mustn't be the jeweler's magnifier. So why take the effort just to build this up? If you have specialized work where you do where you want to document something and you do very delicate work, then the XY table is really useful. But anyway, there's a reason why we didn't take these USB scopes into our shop, because I'm not totally convinced of the everyday use, and all of the hobbyists are on a budget. So for us it's enough for everyday work to have the headband magnifier and the jeweler's magnifier, and that's really all you need. It's cheap. If it breaks, it's just a few bucks to buy a new one, and it's just nobody wants to use these USB scopes or microscopes simply because it takes too much time and effort to build them up, to power up the computer, and etc., etc. So that was my final verdict. Get a decent lighting on your lab bench with whatever device you like, but you never can have enough light. Get as an addition a cheap LED light for some kind of inspection work, and use my venerable and beloved headband magnifier, and that shall be it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye from Kainka Labs. Bye from Roger. Until next time, take care.